Hello and welcome to the Creatively Geeky Show. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight I'm joined by Chris and Ray. Oh, you still got me. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Apparently we're in a mood, but we're good.
Yes. Always.
This is our original format episode. So tonight we will be talking about what we've been working on. The last time we did one of these was in September, so we've had all of Halloween to happen or whatever. So we actually have things to talk about that we've gotten done, so which is nice.
Yeah.
Kind of the reason we switched to this format. So
Yeah.
it's funny. I was talking to someone about it. I think you were actually talking to someone. I was kind of in there with you, and we were just like, "Yeah, we switched up the format because we got tired of. Well, did you get this done? No. Did you get this done? No. Did you get this done? Nope." So
talking to Lou about it, but
yeah, that's right. We were talking to Lou about it. So,
well,
with that being said, let's update and talk about what we've been working on. Would anyone like to go first?
Yes.
All right, Ray. You had down. You were going to finish. You were going to get this watercolor done. And I think I know which one you're talking about. I think it's the one for Logan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Right. Get 3x3 done.
3x3. Oh yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Okay. One gimmick for Halloween.
Yes.
And you had smoke machine, dry ice, or something moving. Those are the three things that you had written down. So let's talk about it.
The gimmick worked.
Okay, so let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about the watercolor.
Watercolor. So yes, that was a Stranger Things. I thought I got that done a long time ago. Anyway,
you were supposed to do it while she was at camp, but then it didn't happen, and then you finished it up, and she came home from school.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, yes, it was a Stranger Things. Yeah. The episode where Eddie plays the guitar in the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a specific frame that I grabbed from that, and I did a watercolor of that and handed it over, and I think Logan absolutely hated it.
I'm sure she did.
She's not going to.
It was horrible. No one cared for it.
It goes to her Dustin.
Yes,
one that she's got that you painted for her
a couple years ago. So
yeah, years ago.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It looked awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, she hates it though. We're gonna burn it. It's. Now she gave me a look.
Now she's got okay.
But yeah, I was really happy with it. It challenged me in a couple of areas, but I was able to make it work.
Yeah,
nice. The next thing you had down was get 3x3 done. What was that?
So I had some 3x3 frames that I was going to get some paintings done on it. I still need to do it, although anyway, I'll figure it out. There's a couple of different kind of scenes that my sister has requested for the store, so I'll see if I can get those done before December. Not going to happen.
We're recording on November 23rd. I don't know.
No, it'll be new. It'll be in the new year anyway. So cool. Yeah.
And then the last thing you had was your Halloween gimmick. I'm still super impressed with this one.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah,
it's so cool.
I was really happy with this one. So we talked about it before on this show. I know we've talked about it. Van Oaks props. Hands down, if you don't know, you got to go check them out on YouTube. I did the haunted shovel version. So one of our neighbors had a wiper motor that he was no longer using because it came out of his truck. So I tested it out. We got it working. He showed me how to do tests with it using a battery for the drill. So we wired it up to make sure it would work. And then I ordered a controller as well, so it still stayed at the same amps, but it was low voltage, so it would move slower. Got that all really hooked up. I had to take apart an old light that I found, rewire it so that it was waterproof, and then we got a fire bulb for it as well, so it looked more like flame.
It flickers like flame, like a candle flame. It's really cool.
So that was in there as well, and then it just rocked back and forth, nice and slow. And then also what we did was we found for the what's it called? There's projection Atmos.
For the sunroom, the windows.
Atmos FX or I think it's Atmos FX or anyway. I'll look up while Chris is talking. I'll give you the real name of it. Mm-hmm. So they had these things that you could purchase and download, which were just scenes, and one of them was just shadows, and it was a gravedigger, so it looked like the spirit of a gravedigger was digging. And
nice.
I had that set up.
It looked really cool.
And so as the thing's rocking back and forth, the picture matched the flickering of the flame, so it matched up really nicely, and cool. It was pretty cool. So
that's fantastic.
I was pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, except we got like 5 kids for Halloween. It was such a bummer.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I mean, at this point, you're kind of decorating for yourself. I mean, which is fine because like I'm totally okay with that because when I start talking about that's some of the other things that I got done, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I know we got a lot of trick or treaters, but I'm like, I don't care. Like I like how this looks. Like I'm doing this for me. So
we're gonna have to do the projection and everything. Like I think a week.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do the projector a lot earlier.
Yeah, we just did it that night.
Yeah. What I think I'll do next time as well is I'll set it up so that I can hook the mirror. Because what I do is I use a mirror to project the projector onto the screen. Mm-hmm. So in order to do that better, I think I'm going to attach the mirror to the door. Mm-hmm. In a way, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do that
yet. Not sure how you're going to do that either. That is an antique oak door.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how I'm going to just do it yet, but I'll have some sort of stand to have it so that I can move it while it's off, because otherwise it's in the way. And then the other option is being able to project it a lot closer so that I still get the big picture of it, but it's a lot closer than what I am currently. So
right. Yeah, projection's interesting. So
there's a lot of fun you can do with it. Yeah. And then I'm really tempted to get a second projector and have a second area.
It's happening.
A second area projected as well, and then you can kind of tell a story. And there's fun.
That would be awesome. Have you been working on anything else in addition to these?
I started a watercolor before I went to our little fun adventure on the weekend. Mm-hmm. I came up with a concept for an Ent and wife. Uh-huh. So I started that. It's not done yet, obviously, but I'm in the beginning process of kind of laying it out in some watercolor and seeing where that all goes. And then I also came up with a couple other concepts for bigger watercolors that I want to try out, that I was told that if they get completed, I won't be able to sell them because they're all going to be Lord of the Rings inspired. So
nice.
Yeah.
He's never done anything like that before. So.
No. So it should be really interesting. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Chris, let's go ahead and roll into yours because yours kind of goes along with what some of the stuff he's been talking about and been working on. So you had repaint the sunroom, bathroom door, more cooking and baking, and something very vague here. Something about doing something with the room downstairs. I don't know if you ever.
Oh yeah.
So
let's start with the sunroom.
Yeah, so the sunroom, one of the previous owners had a love affair with quarter round, but like really gross fat quarter round, and it was everywhere. So I took it off, and then I kind of plastered it so it would sort of match, but it looked a lot better. So I did repaint the trim. Turns out 2 years ago, I didn't actually paint the walls any color. It was just primer. Yeah. So I just went around with the primer I had. It was a wonderful, happy accent. I'm like, oh, it's just primer. Thank God I have to match this. And I just did a little freshening up, so I didn't do the whole thing. Just, the little scuffs and marks that you get with everything and stuff. So I did that. And in conjunction with that, I did do the door. So the way we have our sunroom set up is that it used to be the exterior of the house, and there was a porch, and then someone at some point had closed it in, and they left the original large window, and that led into a large closet slash pantry. And then about 8 or 9 years ago, the people who lived here had converted that into a bathroom because the wife of the couple, she'd gotten very sick and couldn't go upstairs anymore. So that was her bathroom. There were pull bars everywhere. Anyway, and they boxed in this little. They took out the original window and put in a little window, frosted so you couldn't really see. Ray hated it because you could sort of still see the silhouette.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if you were in the bathroom, everybody outside knew you were in the bathroom at night.
Except it was a really quiet street and it wasn't.
Doesn't matter. It's awkward.
Anyways, the squirrels were looking. So we decided during one of the lockdowns in COVID to switch the door around, and that's the door. And then I told him, I'm like, okay, I really want to paint the door, so why don't I do an homage to Doctor Who? You pick your favorite Doctor, and I will paint it that color.
Which I'm very happy to say you did a really great job with this.
So it is.
I picked the War Doctor.
You picked the War Doctor, which is John Hurt's Doctor. Out there who doesn't know that. So I did do that. Now what I need to do is order, probably off Amazon, the sign, the police box.
Yeah.
And stick it under the door.
I'll do that next.
Sure. So I got that. That was actually pretty fun. I like doing that. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Something about baking and cooking.
Stove broke. At the beginning of this month or last month?
Yeah, in the beginning of October, I think.
No.
Yeah, you told me a little bit about it, Ray. What happened?
Mid-October?
Yeah, the one element is gone. It doesn't work, but we have 3 other elements, so that's fine.
That was a big deal. Wicked, stop.
Sorry, our cats
Sorry.
are pets of the Zoomies.
Yes.
So that was, I didn't mind losing an element. I have 3, it's totally fine. And then, oh, sorry.
I'm going to kill them.
Okay, well, he goes murders our pets.
All right.
I'm going to shock you. And then, it's like having toddlers. So that's fine. And then I was making something. I think it was just something as silly as chicken. And it was just like, shit, like, this is really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I didn't do it at the right temperature. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So the next day, he's making garlic bread and just like up in smoke. And so the sensor had gone, or something had gone in it. It gave us an F10, warning, and we're looking that up, and something about the temperature sensor had off. So he ordered a new part. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The whole thing's shot, so we have to get a new one. It's as old as Quinn. Like, we bought it at the house. So we have to get a new one. So I've been using the air fryer again. So it's kind of lucky that it happened so close to me just having a functional kitchen, so I still can get back quickly back into the mode of not having an oven anymore. So yeah.
So did you explain kind of what happened?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So the thing that can go wrong with it is it could run away heat.
Yeah, there was no way to control the temperature, so it would just shoot it up.
So as soon as it supplied electricity to the element, it would just stay on. Mm-hmm. And so we got an overheat alarm.
That's what it is, an alarm. Thank you.
Yeah, on the element, and so we're like, nope.
No.
Put a new element in.
Didn't work.
It still does the same thing.
But the stovetop still works, so it's totally fine.
And just so everybody doesn't freak out, I have unplugged the elements and taped them with electrical tape, so there's no way of this thing turning on.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So this weekend, because it's Black Friday, and now we have adopted that holiday in that everything's on sale for ridiculous prices. Not that we do things. We do it in October like normal people.
Try your hand at finding a...
We're going to try and find a reduced price glass top electric range, because cooking with gas scares me.
Yeah, like I've lived in one apartment, whatever, that had gas, and I understand the benefits to it, but I also see the drawbacks as well, and I'm just like, no, I'm fine.
It's not enough. It's just not enough.
Yeah, there's benefits, like you can cook when there's no power. There's benefits like that, but
Yes, it's big.
Yeah.
it's the carbon monoxide warning that I don't want to
It's
hear.
the open flame. It's the fact that we're all four of us are incredibly klutzy.
Yeah.
Somebody's burning themselves,
Oh yeah,
or setting a piece of clothing on fire by accident. Something's happening.
going wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that this weekend.
Well, all
Yeah.
right. And then this thing with this room downstairs.
Wow, fun story.
Just a little project,
Just a
small
little project.
I decided to do this. So downstairs is this little room that they put down there. It's not tall enough for anybody but me and Logan and a little bit of Quinn. Quinn can actually stand
Quinn
up,
can
but
stand up.
barely. Ray can't. So it's mine, and I decided a couple years ago it was going to be a nice little knitting spot, little crochet spot, and I painted because it was just wood paneling, so I painted the wood paneling gray. I painted everything. I took out the old carpet. The subfloor was really good, so I just put a clear coat over it, put a desk in, just sort of put stuff in there to sort of, I don't know, contain the yarn, and then never went down there, like ever. And
I used it more.
You did when you were working from home. You'd go downstairs.
So I'd go down there and do work and stuff like that, so that I'd go to the way. But
But it has one little window that looks out onto our driveway, and it has no vent. So it gets really, really cold in the wintertime and kind of gross in the summer. It's just kind of muggy because we live in an old house. It's like damp. So I decided, we'd talked, and we're like, okay, when the kids move out, not just school move out, but like have their own place. Logan's room is going to be his art room, and mine, Quinn's room is going to be my room. I can house all my yarn. And then you start calculating how long that could potentially take, and he just started grade 9, and I'm like, this is going to be my room for minimum 8 years. So I better make it look like I want to look and actually want to be down there, because I don't like it down there. And I'm like, because it's small, so I had to make it light and airy, and then I'm just like, fuck it. We're just going to do full-on cave. Just fully embrace it. So I painted the whole thing, ceiling, trim, walls, this color called Clover Patch, which is a really, really, really dark, almost black green. And I bought another set of cubbies, painted them all the same color so they match the walls, they sort of blend in. I got rid of the desk. Turns out I don't need a desk. I need a work surface. So I got a drop leaf table for $40 off of Facebook Marketplace that somebody was selling. Kept my chair. I had an old wash stand, put it upstairs because it was useless. Brought down, we had a circular table upstairs, brought it downstairs. And then I had an idea for the corner. I really miss our fireplace from the cottage. So I wanted an electric heater that looked like that. And it just turns out I just missed the glow. I actually don't miss the whole heater. I just love the glow of it. So we put it in the corner, and we talked about it. So that corner where the electric fireplace is, it has 2 shelves to split up my Hogwarts castle that I have. And we talked about it. This is his thing, because I can't do it. He's gonna make it into a tree.
Nice.
With spray foam.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all knobbly and stuff. And
so there's spray foam and as well as regular foam. I've found how to do fake trees, and there's a couple of different techniques I've used. One is from Van Oak's props. His is a little bit more gnarly than I'm looking for. And then what I'm also going to do is hide a little door in the roots.
Nice.
Has a chimney stack coming out of it, just like a little metal one, so that when somebody needs a diffuser down there, they can plug the diffuser in, and it will light up.
Chimney smoke.
And
nice.
Coming out of it. So
I'm super excited, but I love going down there. Sometimes I just sit down there with the computer, put on a show, I just turn the light on of my little electric fireplace and just sit down there.
That's awesome. I'm glad you made it something you enjoy.
Me too, and we didn't spend. I had a budget, so now we're doing pretty good for that. The electric fireplace was the most expensive thing.
We did buy it brand new.
We did buy it brand new. I didn't want to risk buying anything.
Yeah, that's one of those things that
Yeah.
you're like, this probably should be new.
Yeah, we should get this brand new. But yeah, so and then I got this stuff off Amazon that you can cover the window with, and it looks like stained glass.
Hmm.
That's now I don't have to look at the.
I was gonna say, like, have you thought about? Because you said the window doesn't really look at. And I was like, have you thought about doing like a stained glass or something? But
Yeah, so it looks frosted all the time.
okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And kind of like rainbowy, which is really cool. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm happy that it's better organized, because that was the other thing too, because I love organization, especially when it's like when it's efficient and it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that previous setup just wasn't doing it. So it's much more set up to the way I need things to be. So it's nice. And then we got a different. So the other thing is that the light that was in there was a temporary light with this cage around it, so that if you bumped your head, you weren't like actually, it would move too with you, so it just dangled.
It's the same templates that they use for when they're building a house. They just it's basically 2 wires and a light bulb.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it was.
So we found this thing called a moonlight on Amazon, and it's not even an inch deep. Yeah, about an inch deep, and it looks like the moon, and it fits perfectly. So I can walk underneath it. I'm not hitting my head on anything.
The other nice thing too is that it's LED, but you could set the tone, right? So the balance was really blue, like that. When we got it,
right.
And so I took it back down. I'm like, oh, here's a switch, and then put it back up, and it was a nice,
it's a lovely
warm
glow.
color. So yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So that was really awesome, and I love it. It was, it's a very happy. It turns out I can't do airy and bright and light. I have to make everything look like a fucking cave now. It has to be dark, like my soul.
I'm trying to remember whose templates I followed. It may have been Britt and what's his name from Punish Props. When I did my staff, whenever I dressed up from
Magic 2.0.
the Magic 2.0 series, and I thought I did an okay job on it. Apparently, a lot of other cosplayers thought I did a pretty dang good job on it, which was like, okay. But yeah, like so I've done a little bit of faux woodwork like that out of home. So yeah, it's interesting, and once you get the hang of it, it'll be fun. So
so they look like the shelves have been carved into the tree.
That's my plan.
And then the fireplace has been set into a notch or a hole cut out in the tree.
Yeah, and then some of the benches are actually going to go. I'm going to create benches that go off into a shelf as well.
Yeah,
so.
like shelf.
Are you using PVC?
I haven't totally decided quite yet what I'm going to do. I think because one of the is it that pink foam, the pink. Or purple. There's kind of a purple.
Yeah.
That's the one that I think I'm going to use.
Okay.
Because I've got some here that I can test. And then what you do is you use the spray foam to connect.
Right, yeah.
And then you can give it a little bit extra texture that way too. And then once it's all dry, you kind of, There's a couple YouTube videos that I found, and one of them was for, it was for a TV prop that they used. And he kind of goes over how he created it. And yeah, so good.
To get the bends in my staff, because I didn't want it to be, it's supposed to look like a real piece of wood, so it's not ramrod straight. I used a heat gun on it.
Yeah.
There's a guy that he made a proton pack out of EVA foam, and he even made the Alice frame out of it. And one of the suggestions he did that everyone's now just like, well, duh, why aren't we all doing this? Yeah. If you do use PVC and you decide to bend it, stuff it full of sand first, because then when you heat it, it will actually keep its round shape instead of flattening out. And I'm just like, everyone's just like, duh, that's genius. So
yeah,
but
we have a lot of brick sand, so that would work.
That would work.
Yeah, if I end up having to do something, because I've contemplated when I do the boys' proton packs, I'm kind of thinking about going a little bit different way, and I'm like, do I want to do a full Alice frame, or do I want to try to make them? And once I saw that, I was like, well, I don't know, that may be worth trying, because it would be a lot lighter than an actual metal Alice frame. So I don't know, we'll see. But, well, that's awesome. I'm so glad you have your space set up and
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's awesome, and the fact that he was just like, yeah, babe, let's do it, and then we got all like excited, and the fact that the tree is his thing, and he knows what I want out of it. I don't know how to execute any of that. I'm like, as long as the Hogwarts fits in, I don't care. I don't do it. Whatever you need to do it. And then underneath the electric fireplace is enough to put some books in. Because my goal of having a library. Yeah, so a lot of my my fantasy novels and stuff like that will go down there.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to collect all the J.R. Tolkien stuff. So I have the Silmarillion.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So on my thing, I had boys' Halloween costumes, Tombstones, PCB board. I didn't realize I had put that on there. Get Matrix done, and those are the things that I had. So let's start off with the boys' Halloween costumes. Halloween costumes, I did finish.
Awesome.
I didn't really have to make anything for Alex's. I thought I was going to have to spray paint over part of the helmet. And when I was cleaning it with alcohol, I was like, the letters started coming off that I was going to have to spray paint over. I was just like, wait a minute, can I just take this off? Sure enough, I was able to just rub them off, so, with a little chemistry going there. And I was just like, all right, cool. So I didn't have to do anything with that. That was nice. Nick's goggles. So we end up having to buy an actual helmet. And then the metal piece that goes on the front that causes goggles and stuff to flip down. I was like, I could try to figure this out, but it was fairly cheap on Amazon, so I just went and bought it.
Yep.
But then he wanted night vision goggles, and even the cheap versions that aren't real night vision goggles that just kind of simulate it, we're still, we've already hit kind of a budget limit on this Halloween costume. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try to 3D print this. So I sat down and designed it, and I ended up putting some little green LEDs in there, and just with a little watch battery or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did them the way that I did. I did it so that there's 4 goggles. There's 2 that face forward and 2 that kind of face out. And the ones that face out, I actually put the green LEDs in it, but the other 2 I put just kind of facing forward, not in where he could actually see. So it's a little heavy, so it actually would kind of be a little further down than his eyes are, so he could still see out and be perfectly fine seeing everything that was going on. But even just these 4 LEDs hooked up to these watch batteries, they're so freaking bright. He's blinding people constantly, which he loved. He loved it. It was awesome. But anyway, so I did get their costumes done. Alex ended up wearing his costume one night just for Halloween. That was it. Nicholas, on the other hand, actually went to a trunk or treat event with me and helped me hand out candy. And I don't know, I may end up having a con buddy here in the future, which would be really cool. So, of course, a lot of people, I don't know what they're thinking. They're just like, I guess they just see the pseudo military setup or whatever. And of course, they see me with my proton pack and everything. I guess they assumed he was a different type of Ghostbuster or whatever. He didn't. I was just like, no one's going to know what you are, dude. They're just going to think you're paramilitary, so just go with it. So, but no, he had a blast doing it and turned out doing really well. So, the Tombstones.
Yes.
I am super proud of how they came out.
You should be.
If you follow me, honestly, Instagram's the best place to follow me. Follow me on Instagram. Go check it out. I've had several posts of it. I did not finish them until mid-November.
Yeah.
So needless to say, they did not get pressed into service this year, but they will definitely be pressed into service next year. And before then, at some point, I'm kind of leaning towards summer just because it would allow me to accelerate the painting process, which was honestly that took a lot more time than I thought it did. So go check out my post. I also did not use technically the right kind of foam. I used more kind of like a padded styrofoam, unlike the pink stuff. But when I went to Lowe's, they didn't have the pink stuff. I'm assuming Home Depot does. So whenever I do this again, I'll probably have to do that.
Yeah.
I do like how it turned out, though, because it does look a little more jagged. So these will maybe end up being my older Tombstones, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, so I I cut out the basic shape, and then I designed what I wanted them to say. Christy and I talked about it and figured out what we wanted to say. They're all jokes, like I'm a ghost. Um, Chris P. Bacon, beloved
Yep.
by all. All of the birth and death dates are exactly 69 years apart because I'm a child. But so I designed them, and then I was trying to figure out how I was going to get them on there. And I don't know, just like one of those things, you're just like, duh, I have access to projectors. So I just set them up, projected it on there, and then I, like, kind of, took a mark or whatever. And then I took my Dremel, which this is the second Dremel I've ever owned. My first one died. And I thought I had the right attachment, but I didn't. So I had to go buy a different attachment, which kind of put me back a little bit. But I set my bit for about, I think, a half inch. Originally, they said to do like a quarter inch. Once again, Van Oaks props. Fantastic. You need it, absolutely follow him. And then I routed out all the letters. And then after that, it was he took a blowtorch to it. I just had a heat gun. He's like, it'll do the same thing, just it'll do it a little bit slower. But you take water and you kind of spray it on the thing in beads, and then you hit it with the heat, and it will crinkle up, and you get this really cool, stone effect. And then after that, it was carving out a couple of cracks here and there, and then I put dry lock on it. Put a couple of coats of dry lock on it that seals it and gives it kind of a. It's funny because it's still, you can still press into it, like you can still tell that it's not a solid effect, but it definitely gives it a more sandy effect. And then after that, it's literally just mixing up water and acrylic paint, and I did a brown, a black, and a green over all of it, and then hit it with a gray dry brush. And like I said, go check out my Instagram. But I'm really happy with the way they turned out. So
They turned out really, really cool.
yeah. So and I just need to have a few more and get like a shovel that waves back and forth. As well, so.
Yeah, you and I went the opposite directions. I went.
We kind of tackled the same type of thing that he's doing, but we just went different ways. And I'm sure we'll probably come back around to that. PCB board. I didn't realize I'd put this on there. I finally designed this thing. So I've been wanting to upgrade my Proton Pack for quite a while. It's not nothing really major. There's just some little things that I want to kind of change out. And the biggest thing was trying to add a vibrating motor to it. I wanted to make it so that whenever you held down the fire button, the wand would shake. And I looked and looked. I tried different motors or whatever. I finally settled on an Xbox 360 Rumble controller motor, but it was still causing problems up until the very end, and I finally just had to wire its own separate thing. So once I happy with it and I was done with it, I had to reteach myself how to do printed circuit boards, and I did that, and I created them and I sent them off, and I think it was all about $30 or so for it's 3 separate boards, and I got 5 each of them. And they already came back. They came back with in a week and a half, and I was just like,
that's great.
Okay. So they're currently sitting around here, and I'm just like, all right, well, I need to wire one up. And at this point, something that was not on the list that you can probably hear as we're talking is one of my 3D printers is going, and I'm currently reprinting my wand because I'm wanting to add a few more features to it and do some other stuff. So I'm reprinting that. But yeah, I'm as long as they work. I mean, I still have to wire them up and make sure they work. But as long as I wire it up and it works, I'm very proud of myself for designing these printed circuit boards, for these circuits. So, get Matrix done. Yep, didn't happen. Haven't touched them. I'm thinking maybe over the next month, but I'm not really pushing myself still. So,
yeah.
I did get a few other things done. I designed and 3D printed. Okay, so here's the other thing I got done. Hasbro Pulse started this. They announced this thing. I've talked about doing a thing for a while now. I even looked up and did a head scan of myself. I've always wanted an action figure of myself. And I bought an extra Ray Stantz character from the Plasma series that came out. And I had the idea. I was like, I could pop the head off. I could do a 3D scan of myself. I could use my resin printer and 3D print my head. And then I could pop it on there and I'd have an action figure. Well, about the time I started getting really kind of serious thinking about doing this, Hasbro announces, hey, we're doing this thing called the Selfie Series. So you download the app, and it does kind of a pseudo 3D scan of your face. It's not your entire head, it's just your face. And then it will, you go in there and you pick out like your hair, the shape and the color and stuff. And then they will 3D print and send you a action figure. And you can pick from one of 5 different things. There's Ghostbusters, of course. Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, Star Wars, Marvel, and G.I. Joe.
Specify though, Star Wars is not a Jedi.
That's the thing. There are some obvious things that's like, why did you not put Jedi? Like for Star Wars, you can be the Mandalorian, Princess Leia, a stormtrooper, a pilot.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if there was a 5th one, but it was just like, why not generic Jedi? Like that's kind of weird, but which is actually why my partner at work has not done this yet. He's like, as soon as they do Jedi, that I'll do that. So, but like Ghostbuster, it's either male or female body. Power Ranger, it's either red or pink. And it's like, they're all the same. Like, why aren't you offering the other color Rangers as well? But whatever. Yeah. And then Marvel, it's like, I think Black Widow, and then it's Iron Man, Black Panther. I can't remember what the other one is. But anyway. And so they send you they send you your character. And I thought I didn't know how long it was going to take and everything else. I did it right as they started this, and I think this was in October, and I got mine in. And I thought it actually, the face scan of myself is not bad. The problem is they don't do several things that are kind of really big things to my face. My beard, for example. They just have it kind of shaded in on the beard. And there's a little bit here. It's not like I have a super thick beard or whatever, but there's still a beard there. So there's not really much of a beard. They also don't offer glasses. Like I can't roll without glasses. I literally cannot see without glasses. And then I'm always wearing a hat. So what I did was, as I got it, I'm pretty happy with it. But I was like, it's time to fix this. Yeah. So I 3D designed and 3D printed some glasses and printed them on my resin printer. And I designed and 3D printed a hat and painted that. And then for the beard, I looked up because I'm like, surely people are. I know there's a big community of people that modify action figures. Yeah. And so I looked up. I was like, what's the easiest way to do a beard? And they're like, oh, you use a 2-part like fixing epoxy, like JB Weld or something like that. And so I did that and put it on there, and then proceeded to paint it and got everything done. And I don't know how well it's going to show up on this video. Once again, go check out my Instagram account. But yeah, there's me as an action figure with a proton pack. So I'm extremely happy with how this came out. I mean, definitely a little thinner than I am in real life, but it's fine. It's an action figure. If I really decided I want to go after it, I guess I could pop my head off of this one and pop the head on like the Ray Stantz figure that I have. So what's interesting is I went back and was watching some of the videos when they first announced this back in the summer. The guy from Tested's website, Norm, was talking about it. The 3D printed heads on these is actually from resin printer. They actually are working with a company. It's a tough resin, but yeah, it is a resin printer. It's literally the same technology that I have sitting back here. So my idea of doing an action figure for myself is basically the same thing they were doing. Sure. The main difference is like I said, their scan is just of the front of the face, whereas the scan I was going to do was going to be my entire head. So it would have actually been my actual head shape. Yeah. So, but anyway, and see, I probably would have tried it a couple different ways. I might have done it without a hat, or whatever, and then I may have been like, no, screw it, I'll just do the scan with the hat, so that it's not like I'm gonna take the hat off or whatever. But anyway, but yeah, I'm extremely happy with it.
Yeah. The glasses too.
Oh yeah, I'm extremely happy with how the glasses came out. So, in fact, I've got about 5 other pairs printed out that I have to take to some of the other Ghostbusters in my group because they also wear glasses. And I was like, hey, if anyone needs better glasses, I'll 3D print them for you. So I'm not going to charge them. I think the cost on it, because they're so tiny, is like maybe a penny. I'm just like, I'm not going to charge you for a penny worth of resin.
2 pennies. You got to make a profit.
2 pennies. Yeah, I have to make some kind of a profit. So. But yeah, so I've been working on this. This is something that's been... It kind of surfaced and then kind of kept getting put on the back burner and kind of coming back around. Of course, my jerk of a partner at work goes, so are you going to get a a Ford Flex that's this scale, so a toy or 3D print it so you can ecto it up. And I'm just like, well, it does make sense. The next logical step with action figures either a vehicle or a playset. So
There you go.
With a gunner seat.
no, well, okay. So some of the other things I've halfway thought about was I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to be too super accurate because, like I said, he's definitely thinner than I am. But I'm like, I wonder how small I could print the Austin Ghostbusters logo to put on the other arm, and then I wonder if I can update the name patch on it because the name patch on it says rookie, which is kind of a running joke with the Ghostbusters. When you're new, you got the rookie one because you don't want to get too attached. We run through rookies quite a bit, and I'm like, do I want to go ahead and do the whole Stevens thing? And so,
Just had a thought as well.
mm,
If you grab a Micro Machines monster truck, you could 3D print over top of that, take the body off, and have the little.
the RTV. Well, I mean, if I decided I wanted to open up the rest of my Plasma series characters, the podcast character actually comes with the RTV. I could.
Well,
I literally, like, I could, if I wanted to, I could go in there and grab the Ray I've got, and I'd have a pair of goggles. So if I did want to take off my hat, I could just put on the goggles. And I actually thought about that. Like, I'm okay with the hat. It's definitely a little taller than it really should be, but because of the shape of the head, it was kind of difficult to get it to work. So, but yeah, like I said, overall, is having an action, sitting here looking here at it and having an action figure myself is just freaking cool. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so that's what I was working on. Sorry about that. Forgot the sound phone. So let's go ahead and talk about future projects. Unless there's something else that in particular y'all wanted to talk about.
No, future projects.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular you're thinking about, Ray? I know we're about to come into Christmas season. I know that kind of slows down the creativity for a lot of us.
Well, there's pros and cons with it. Sometimes you can get snow days where you can't really do anything else anyway. So, but then do you feel like doing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I would. There's so from our past weekend, and I'll talk about it after we're done recording. But there's a certain project that kind of came out of the pictures that were taken from this weekend.
Okay.
So I want to look at that. And then the other thing is I'd like to finish up the Ent watercolor as well with the Ent wife. So those will be two for sure that I'd like to do. And then a third possibility is at least starting an oil painting. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Chris, is there anything in particular you're wanting to try to work on?
I'm trying to finish all these blankets I kind of half started. I finished one. It's done, but I would like to. I have a basket of like ongoing projects. I want to be able to put a dent into that, and start organizing. For me is also a creative endeavor because I love it.
Yeah.
And I want to tackle the basement. It's at the point now that I know if I do it, I'm going to get such a massive hit of dopamine and serotonin. It's going to feel so amazing to get it done. And it's on my to-do list that I make for myself every week. So I would like to have because we'll be checking these in January. So I'm really hoping that I will have at least had one chunk gone through, sorted, stuff that needs to be donated, stuff we keep is wonderfully organized and stuff. And then it's hard in the wintertime here, right? Like it's one of those things where everything's kind of weather dependent and it really affects your mood. And I hate Christmas, so we'll see how I make my way through that.
Gotcha.
Oh, I do have to hang a bunch of candles, battery operated candles in the sunroom for Christmas because that's the decorated room, the season room. So I would like to do that and have a nice little Christmas display. Find some secondhand Christmas decorations from like Goodwill or something like that, and start making a little village on that top shelf and Yeah, make it look like Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley or something like that. But I would like to start doing that because December is coming up very quickly.
Yep.
Very quickly.
Like, very
Yes, it is. I think originally Christy wanted to go ahead and start decorating the house this week,
quick.
and I was like, "You go right ahead. I will join you on Friday, which
Yeah.
is after Thanksgiving here." So I'm one of those people that's like, "Nope, decorating happens after Thanksgiving. That's perfectly fine, but not until then." And I think she's just gotten. So before I go into mine, um, a couple of members of our group, do the shows, Lainey and Joseph, have been planning a wedding for a year and a half, and this last weekend they got married. So it's down in the valley. It is about a 6-hour trip from where I live. It's literally right at the very bottom of Texas. And
It's really far.
yeah, it's really far. And you would think, it's Texas. It's literally in the valley. Like it's probably, and it's in November, so it's not going to be cold. It's probably it won't be hot, but it's not going to be cold.
It
It
wasn't.
should be pretty. It might be okay. So they planned an outdoor wedding, and it literally rained this last weekend, like record amount of rain not associated with a hurricane. Like hurricane, of course, throw all the charts off, but in a non-hurricane situation, it's the most rain that they've gotten within that time period.
I
It was
think
ridiculous.
it's a month's worth in a couple of days.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Literally, we were joking. Christy and I don't think Christy and I saw sunshine until we came home. Like that entire weekend, like as we got down there, it was just started getting cloudy and started sprinkling. And if it was not misting, it was just flat out raining.
Yeah.
And I'd like to have them on to talk about it
Yes.
if they want to, because I think it would be a fun episode. We when we have a big event, we like to talk about it. So that may be an episode of the Epic Geeky Show. But yeah, so anyway, coming back, Christy, I think, is just trying to get caught up and rest or whatever. So needless to say, the decorations have not already started yet. Tomorrow is our Thanksgiving, and so the day after, I have a feeling there'll be Christmas stuff going up, which is fine. That is the appropriate time for it to go to go up. All right, so for me, I'm only going to put down two things because there's even though I've thought about this stuff and kind of got it planned out, there's still a lot of work I'm realizing I have to do. But I want to try to work on and maybe finish my new wand for my proton pack to upgrade it. And then the other thing is I have a big project that the Ghostbusters group is looking to start doing next year to try to get our name out there. And I'm wanting to work on that, and to do that, I need to start building this foam proton pack that I've been talking about doing for a long time. I really don't think it's going to take me that long because cutting out the foam and everything will, depending on how detail oriented I want to get, the whole purpose of this is to have a super light, barely weighs anything proton pack so that we can get people, and when we go to cons and stuff, to throw it on and be able to take pictures with it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm really kind of hoping to get that done. It's funny, one of our group members is moving, and he has a foam proton pack, and he sold it to one of the other group members. And literally the thing that weighs the most on it is the Alice pack. Like one of the other guys was like, "Here, you want to hold it?" And I was like, "Okay." So he pulls it off, and I'm just like, "Oh my god!" And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "I just want to toss it to you and just be like, catch, because you could." It weighs like 5 pounds, maybe. It's ridiculously light.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I'm looking at trying to get done. So.
You would be interesting.
Mm.
And sorry, this just kind of came out of nowhere.
That was one of the things. Go on.
I'd be curious what if you've ever looked at what they use for the foam for the inside of goalie pads. That is very dense, but also quite light. So I'm just spitballing ideas in my head right now as to what you can actually do with it. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, I'm going to use. I've already got some EVA like the standing pads, like like you'd put down the floors and stuff. That's what I'm going to end up using out of it. And like I said, they're stupid,
Yeah.
light or whatever. So,
Yeah.
once again, it's probably going to be one of those things that's going to be like, oh no, this will be quite simple. And then I'm like, well, I also need to put plastic dip on it so that I can paint it eventually and everything else. But yeah, we'll see. So the other thing I just added on there are one of our group members bought. They had these super cheap. They don't light up. They don't do anything. Plastic props at I think Target, and he gave me 2 of them. I've got a PKE meter and a ghost trap back here. They don't weigh anything, and honestly, with a little bit of weathering, I think they might look halfway decent. And we want to use them for props to hand kids to take pictures and stuff, because some of us are tired of handing over stuff and stuff getting dropped or jammed up and everything else. And it's just like, no, here, oh look, you dropped the PK meter. Okay,
You're the rookie one. Yeah.
yeah. So
You're the rookie one.
yeah, give them the stunt one. So, but yeah, and then I've got I've been playing this new Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed game, and it's so much fun. And you can alter. There's all these different alterations and stuff you can do on the proton pack, and I'm really trying to prevent myself from doing the thing that popped in my head, which is my boys have 2 Spirit of Halloween proton packs, so they're about 83% scale of what a normal size one is. The wands are too small. The wands need to be replaced. It's like they got the scale on this okay, but then they made the wands smaller than they should be, so they need to be replaced anyway. And there's a little part of me that's just like, it would be really cool is if I took them into, had pulled up the game and been like, what configuration do you like of a proton pack and wand? And then I could literally have do theirs that way. It would be a lot of 3D modeling, but I'll be honest, I like 3D modeling, and being able to do this, especially figuring out how to. I've been so stupid. I even thought, I wonder if there's a way I can make these modular. So that you could literally just be like, okay, well, I want this thing on this one. Just be like snap, it's snap on with magnets or whatever. So like to the point I'm even thinking, I'm like, you can run electrical current through a magnet. Like you just literally would make the magnet points also the electrical points that connects to it. And I'm just, there are lots of ideas running on in my head, and I'm just like, no, stop. So.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. Well, that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, wherever it is you listen to the show. You can also watch us on YouTube at Epically Geeky. You can find us on all the social medias, the ones that are still around. So primarily Facebook, or actually no, primarily Instagram. Like you could probably find us there most likely. But even then, to be honest with you, I have the social media stuff for Epically Geeky. We don't really post that much stuff. If you really want to find out what's going on with us individually, I definitely suggest you follow our individual accounts. That's where you're going to find stuff. So social media is hard.
I know I bugged you a while ago for the login stuff. I don't know if I don't think I ever logged in as Instagram, but I still have ideas for that. So
okay, well maybe if we decide to get around to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And then of course you can find us at Epically Geeky, epicallygeeky.com, where you can find the rest of the shows we do, including the Marginally Geeky Show, the Epically Geeky Show, and Sustainably Geeky. Where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram. That's your best spot.
What about you?
Everything from Sean's Wikipedia is yes.
What about you, Chris?
On Marginally Geeky, Epically Geeky, Creatively Geeky, and sometimes Sustainably Geeky, and on Instagram at Moody Midlife.
And as for me, you can follow my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.